The race has tightened, and Trump and Clinton are tearing each other apart.
Her emails were found on pervert Anthony Weiner's laptop.
I love war in a certain way.
And while the campaigns have spread their surrogates across the map, it all comes down to Florida. We have new numbers and projections with our pollster Matt Towery, and some new concerns about voter registration fraud, this time in Pennsylvania. Plus, Charlie Belcher's back with the pulse of the people. This is Money, Power, and Politics. And here we go. Marissa, we've had a wild week, a lot of breaking news that is shaking up the race as we speak.
Certainly so. The polls show it will be tight, and it may hang on Florida once again.
May hang on Florida. Well, and tight. I'm having flashbacks to this guy from a few years ago. Let's take a look there. Are we going to be seeing this? Tell me we're not going to see this. No.
No, we better not see that guy. We do not want another recount like we had back in 2000, because that took 5 weeks to figure out, Craig.
Well, it was a mess, but we don't have the hanging chad, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. But you can't rule out the possibility at this point, seriously, of a recount, because the polls and the early voting returns are just that close.
That's right. Some 5 million people voted before the weekend even started, and that means more than half the vote is probably already in, and the returns are split between a near equal number of Republicans and Democrats.
Okay, so what does it mean? There's two ways to look at this point. Let's go back to 2012. President Obama wins Florida 4 years ago by the skin of his teeth. And heading into this weekend, Democrats did not turn out as many voters in early voting as they did 4 years ago, and that certainly could spell some bad news for Democrats.
Yeah, but Democrats gained momentum as early voting played out, and the court-ordered extension of voter registration added 8,000 more Democrats to the voter rolls. And overall, there are more Democrats than Republicans in Florida. Polling also shows Hillary Clinton is winning Latino voters by a whopping 30 points. And that could all spell bad news for Republicans, Craig.
Yeah, so what it really tells us is it could go either way. And Florida will come down to the wire yet again. And so it's all about Florida. That's why we're seeing so much focus and so much attention right here in our state.
Yeah, and by the way, in Florida, we get a recount if the vote margin is half of 1% or less.
0.5% or less. Now, to put that in context, we didn't have that, of course, 4 years ago, but President Obama won the state of Florida by less than 1%. And what we're seeing again in the early vote total suggests that this race this year may be even closer. Let's start with a look at the forecast. You have Nate Silver's 538 forecast. It gives Hillary Clinton a 65% chance of beating Donald Trump on Tuesday. But there's a but here, right?
Yeah, but that's down from around 80% last month. Trump has momentum heading into Tuesday, and while the electoral map gives Clinton the edge, Trump has a path to victory. But to pull it off, he would have to win Florida.
And it's all, again, Florida. That's why Trump and Pence spent so much time in Florida over the past few days. And it's why Hillary Clinton and Tim Kaine and President Obama, by the way, crisscross Florida as well.
And their rallies and stump speeches aren't really designed to win over undecided voters. The goal is to motivate your own supporters to get them out and vote. For example, when President Obama stumped in North Florida, Republican country, we saw a sharp spike in African-American voter turnout, and polling shows African-American voters overwhelmingly favor Hillary Clinton.
So again, it all comes down to turnout. That's why they have the rallies here. Whichever side does a better job of exciting his or her base is going to win, right?
Or not win, because, well, we could have a tie, as we've explained
there you
in
go.
the past.
That's right. If you watched last night, Marissa, you worked us through the different tie combinations. And what was the bottom line on that?
Well, the bottom line is the chances of a tie go up if Trump wins the state of New Hampshire.
New Hampshire. Okay, well, this is a small state, but that's one reliably leaning Hillary Clinton for weeks, if not months here. So that one has been in the blue column. Let's go over to the Fox decision desk and take a look at the map and check. Look up there in the upper.
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
So the Fox decision desk has flipped this from leaning Clinton to toss up New Hampshire. So if Trump somehow wins that state and maybe flips a couple of others, say Colorado, where the polls are surprisingly tight, maybe New Mexico, where Gary Johnson could poach some votes, you could have a very interesting situation there.
Yeah, but the map still favors Hillary Clinton. You need 270 electoral votes to clinch, and the Fox decision desk gives her 283. Now, based on the polls we're seeing from state to state,
that's where we stand right now. But we've had a lot of changes along the way, including a lot of bombshells with the FBI. We have now some developing news last night and an update we want to bring you on that story now. Last night, we told you about the Fox News reporting about a likely indictment into the Clinton Foundation based on sources through the FBI. Well, Fox News anchor Bret Baier says that was a mistake to say that it was likely to happen, that the FBI will continue to build its case. But it's up to the prosecutors at the Justice Department to decide whether or not to seek an indictment into the Clinton Foundation. And Baier also clarified reports of Clinton's private server being hacked repeatedly by foreign intelligence. While multiple sources believe and they're working under the assumption that it was successfully hacked, there just are no digital fingerprints of that actually happening. But that's still very much a developing story.
Yeah, and also developing a case of possible voter registration fraud in Philadelphia. Investigators with the Pennsylvania Attorney General's office raided an office looking for evidence of fraud. Now, Fox's Bruce Gordon tells us how it all went down in the Keystone State.
Uniformed Pennsylvania State Police and investigators with the State Attorney General's office raided the Fieldworks LLC office in Philadelphia Thursday evening, looking for evidence of voter registration fraud. The search warrant for the raid shows investigators were looking for, among other things, templates that could be used to construct fraudulent voter registration forms. Last Friday, Fieldworks' office in Norwood, Delaware County, was raided based on a search warrant identical to the new one. That warrant also seeks evidence of, quote, quota information or bonuses related to the quantity of voter registration forms completed. So it's not clear whether investigators are probing whether Fieldworks was trying to deceive election officials or whether Fieldworks employees were trying to deceive the company.
This is registration fraud. Is it voter fraud? Well, that's to be determined. We'll see what happens on Election Day.
Yeah, and that was Bruce Gordon reporting.
All right, now that we've taken you through some of the more serious stories just days out from the Tuesday election, let's lighten up the mood a little bit and head back out to the beach to find out what people are thinking of this crazy election.
Head out to the beach. So this is another chance for me, right?
Okay,
this is where we find people who are relaxing, they're kicking back, right?
And you disturb them ever so nicely.
Ever so nicely. We ask about politics, and disturbing will now do the trick over the beach. Okay, it's time now for another edition of Beach Party Politics.
Time now for Beach Party Politics.
I love this place.
You love this place. It's a great way to unwind,
Beautiful.
relax,
Yes.
clear your mind.
Yes.
I'd like to spend the next few minutes rehashing Hillary Clinton's emails with you.
I'm looking.
What do people in England say about what's going on over here?
They really do think it's a shame that a nation as great as America is having to deal with politics in this way. It just seems so sad.
What do you think about the state of politics today?
It's sad.
Well, not sad enough. Not sad enough.
Sad enough?
Not sad enough. No. Now we have an election for Trump versus Clinton, and whichever way it goes, now we just start over and have 12 more months of Trump versus Clinton. Oh, why not?
The time when I wasn't sure about you.
Well, still not sad enough.
I don't have anything sadder than
Surely there's something sadder than that.
I think the American people have got two poor choices, and it's strange that it's ended up that way.
Companies like that don't want this guy in office, or would rather have this guy in office.
What about the other guy?
I don't know. Maybe the other guy too. I don't. I guess if you're really into it, I'm not. But
Well, if you're not into it, how do you know which guy they're going for versus the one they're not? You just don't know.
I don't know.
What do you think about this crazy election?
I don't know.
Pretty much says it all, right?
Yeah.
So I was talking to this other guy who I think spoke for all Americans about the race for 2016 when he said,
Well, I can't explain this in English. It is, yeah.
yeah, that's about it.
Is that enough?
Perfect. That's perfect. Thank you very much. That was sad, right? Sad enough at the end?
Yeah.
Because it's a sad kind of year.
Yeah.
It is sad, so we're going to have some more fun here coming up. All right. Here's what we have. After a long 2-week hiatus, Charlie Belcher is back. We're going to have his humor segment in the Money, Power, and Politics mailroom.
And on this time change weekend, we'll show you the new government plans to stop changing the time. After this.
All right, now it's your turn, and Charlie Belcher, it's turn 2. Let's send it over to Charlie in our MPP mailroom. Take it away.
Hello, Money, Power, Politics audience. Charlie Belcher here in the Money, Power, Politics mailroom. Been away for a while, had a little vacation, preempted by all this presidential stuff. But I'm back to answer your emails. Shall we get right to it? We shall. Here we go. Lisa Michelle says, just watched the 100th parody. My goodness! All caps. You and Marissa are incredible. Pretty sure she's talking about Craig there. So the you is Craig. Because remember, I'm reading his emails. Nobody ever emails me. Anyway, my goodness, all caps. You and Marissa are incredible, all caps. What an amazing job you two do together. This stuff is brilliant, all caps. Okay, now I'm starting to think the caps lock button is just broken on her keyboard. Or either that or she really loves the show. And so entertaining. Lisa, thank you. Marissa thanks you. Craig thanks you. I thank you. Next email, Bruce says, I hope you're going to post tonight's Patrick on Politics soon. It was awesome. I want to share it. Well, thanks, Bruce. And remember, you can share it. All these shows end up on YouTube. Follow Money, Power, Politics on the YouTube. Yes, I said the YouTube. I also go to the Walmart. I like putting the in front of things. Go to the YouTube, share it. Share it on the Facebook. Share it on the Twitter. You know what I mean. You get where I'm going here. Next email comes from Timoteo? Can I call you Tim? Craig, your show tonight, Saturday at 5:30, was outstanding. Emoji thumbs up, emoji thumbs up, emoji thumbs up. Your segments on first pitch and courtroom arguments with Charlie were great. Keep up the great work. Emoji with the sunglasses, smiling. Thanks, Tim. Just had to say something to you for such a great show. All three of you hit it out of the ballpark. Stopped watching football to watch your show. Keep up the great work. God bless. Wow, you gave up football for us? That's high praise. Thank you. Susie says, love your Sunday night show. Better than SNL. Judge Jessica. Love it. OMG. Still laughing. Watching live now. Susie, thank you for the email, but Judge Jessica, I think you mean Judge Marissa. It's a good thing Marissa is not here to hear that.
Actually, she is.
Oh! How long have you been standing there?
Forever.
Oh. Well, Susie thinks you're very funny. Right? I mean, that's good, right?
Jessica could be synonymous with Marissa, maybe, in another language.
You look like a Jessica. You could be a Jessica, maybe a Zoe, maybe a Francis.
Maybe. I don't think my parents are gonna like this though.
Oh, wait. Susie actually sent a follow. She sent a follow-up message. She says, Marissa, not Jessica.
There
Oops,
we go.
Fox 13 rocks.
Yeah, we do.
There you go. She got it right.
You rock, Susie.
All right. Go back to wherever you. How does she do that? That's weird. Next email comes from Sherry. Watching the hurricanes since my son moved to Florida leads me to believe Florida was shaped by hurricanes. So you got Florida, hurricanes. Okay. Thank you, Sherry. Next email. This is from Marissa. Different Marissa, spelled differently. Marissa. She says, if you live in the Tampa Bay area, watch Money, Power, Politics. Great show. Unbiased host. If you don't watch it online. LOL. Thank you, Marissa. We completely agree. All right, now let's get to people arguing a little bit. You know what happens every week. This election is almost over. Not that that will end the arguing. Bob says, thank God for Trump. Saving America. All right. Kevin says, I think he's acting crazy. I don't want him controlling our nuclear. And Wesley Chappell says, Money Power Politics is your left-leaning show going to report the new polls that has Trump ahead in Florida by 2%? Question mark, exclamation point, question mark, exclamation point, question mark, exclamation point, hashtag Trump train. I guess we just did. We just reported it. You're welcome. All right, folks, that's it for this week. Keep those emails coming. mppmailbag@yahoo.com. mppmailbag@yahoo.com. Send them in. They'll get sent down here to my mailroom, and I will answer you. Back to you, Craig.
All right, thanks, Charlie. Coming up, we're going to dig into the Florida Senate race, and our pollster Matt Towery has new numbers and predictions. All right, we're back now with our Fox 13 pollster, Matt Towery. Matt, what's going on in the Florida Senate race? It's looking pretty good for Marco Rubio, is it not?
It is. Rubio has consistently run ahead of Donald Trump. Trump is running a tight race in Florida. It looks like this strong Republican turnout, at least in early voting that we're seeing in the state, is really inuring to his benefit. And I would be very shocked in the end if Rubio did not go on to win another term in the U.S. Senate against Murphy. Murphy has, as you recall, in all of our polls for Fox 13 since this whole matchup began, Murphy has never led. In fact, at one time they were tied. That's the closest they came. But Rubio is really beginning to stretch this one out, and I expect him to win the race.
Now, you've previously told us that you believe that Donald Trump will win the state of Florida. In terms of the presidential election as a whole, who do you think could win this on Tuesday?
Well, in terms of the presidential election, I just think that I have a feel that the turnout is stronger in Florida. And this is Marissa, this is the important thing. I think the pollsters have all been off in terms of measuring the degree of turnout that we're going to see and the difference that we're going to see in turnout of various demographics versus 4 years and 8 years ago. And that is the key. These polls have to be weighted. Not only does the data have to be right, they have to be weighted correctly. I don't think there's a pollster in America who's really weighting their polls correctly. Now, I may be wrong on Wednesday, and it may be that our final Fox 13 poll, which may be this one or one coming down the road, might be off. But we'll see.
If you look at your track record, though, through the primaries, you were ranked third best in the nation. Tell us what you did in your methodology and in your weighting the results that you think gave you an edge, at least in prior polls.
Well, I think what we did is we used a combination of, we don't use live interviewers. My son does polling, it's not me. He doesn't use live interviewers, and he also has a smartphone connection, so he doesn't give cell phone calls. People don't return or answer cell phone polls. They're just bored, and you show me somebody who will do that for 10 minutes, and I'll show you a voter who probably isn't going to vote in the first place. So I think that made the difference. And whether or not that's going to make a difference in this general election, I don't know. I just tend to believe a lot of voters who are voting for Trump aren't willing to tell anybody, including an electronic machine right now, which may make all of us pretty much off on Tuesday. We'll just have to see.
All right. Thanks again, Matt, and we'll be seeing you soon.
Okay, thanks.
All right, coming up, we could be seeing some big changes with the time changes themselves, especially after this weekend. We'll explain why coming up. All right, some lawmakers want to do away with the time change, but it's not going to happen. It's just not practical.
Not
we
yet.
would explain more, but we got caught up in some time changes ourselves and wound up running out of time. For Marissa,
night.
that's our show. See you tomorrow.